And that's first here at 10. That cyber attack was noticed Sunday around 8 a.m. when dispatchers at the 911 center saw some unusual activity in their systems.
This happened at Huber Heights. Now those dispatchers are taking calls out of the Montgomery County Dispatch Center. And utility, zoning, and permit services for the city of Huber Heights are all suspended as the city works with local and federal officials investigating that incident. The city manager says that cybersecurity is something that the city has been more focused on.
But moving forward, we intend to obviously beef up our IT infrastructure, primarily our cybersecurity infrastructure, ensure we have the systems in place that can prevent this in the future.
The city will be updating their website daily at 2 p.m. as the investigation continues. And the city has declared a state of emergency in the city of Huber Heights. The city council making that declaration tonight, responding to a ransomware attack. Well,
while the city works with the forensics team to investigate what happened, they're also trying to help the city recover. 2 News reporter Seth Bird joins us here live in the studio. He was at a meeting tonight and has the latest information on this developing story.
Huber Heights officials say they responded swiftly once they detected the cyber attack on the city's network. Now they begin the recovery process, and that could take some time.
Very frustrating. Unfortunately, it's become much more common.
Huber Heights City Manager Richard Zick has only been on the job a few months and is now navigating his city through a cyber attack, something he has previous experience with last year when he worked in Mount Vernon.
A similar but maybe less robust attack on our systems. It actually wasn't originated with any of our city staff. It was a third-party vendor that managed our IT services.
This attack called for a quick response at the beginning of tonight's regularly scheduled meeting. After a 30-minute executive session, they declared a state of emergency and announced funding for up to $350,000 from the general fund to improve the city's infrastructure and investigating the attack.
Basically what that does is that authorizes me then to spend that money on the necessary firms or organizations or other entities without having to come back to council and get approval, which I would normally have to do spending this amount of money.
In the meantime, the city is working with Verizon's crisis response team to provide devices to help the city get back up and running. Residents are feeling the impact in some areas. The city is not allowing any online payments for utility bills and different permits. Instead, residents will have to go to City Hall and pay in cash until they are back up and running. Zick says hopefully by the end of the week, some services will be back online.
It happens. So I think our public, our residents have been very understanding with us thus far. Operations have been proceeding as normal, and we are going to get to the bottom of this and get everything corrected as soon as possible.
Zick also says there's no timeline for the forensic investigation. That could take a number of weeks before that wraps up. In studio, Seth Bird, 2 News.
All right, thank you, Seth. So what can you do to protect yourself from cyber attacks? According to the Ohio Attorney General's website, you should never click on unfamiliar links or attachments on emails. You should consider installing a pop-up blocker and an antivirus software. If you are connected to a public Wi-Fi, assume that everyone can see what you're doing, and do not type in your passwords while on that connection.